In a cozy little house on a tree-lined street lived the Thompson family. There was Ted, the father, known for his penny-pinching ways. His wife, Mary, was a heart of gold, balancing Ted's frugality with warmth and care. Their two children, Lily and Ethan, added laughter and life to their humble abode. The Thompsons weren't poor, but Ted's frugality was legendary. He believed in saving for a rainy day, maybe even a slightly drizzly one. Every penny was accounted for, every purchase scrutinized. Mary often found herself being resourceful, stretching every dollar and making do. Lily, a bright and imaginative girl, dreamt of pretty dresses and fun outings, while Ethan, the practical one, learned to be resourceful, just like his mom. Life in the Thompson household was an adventure in frugality. Ted's stinginess was not just a habit, it was an art form. He could sniff out a bargain from a mile away. Grocery shopping was a military operation, armed with coupons and a calculator. He'd hover over clearance bins like a hawk eyeing its prey. "Waste not, want not," was his mantra, often repeated with a twinkle in his eye. Dinner at the Thompsons was an adventure in culinary creativity. Leftovers were reincarnated into new and interesting dishes, sometimes for days on end. Lights were switched off with the fervor of an Olympic sprinter, much to Lily's chagrin. Bathwater was measured, and woe betide the child who dared take a long, luxurious soak. Ted's antics, though sometimes frustrating, were a constant source of amusement and exasperation for his family. Ted's frugality, while well-intentioned, cast a long shadow over the family. Lily yearned for new clothes, not hand-me-downs from distant cousins. School trips and outings with friends were met with a firm no or a lecture on the virtues of saving. Ethan, though understanding, wished for a new pair of sneakers, ones that didn't have holes patched with duct tape. Mary, the peacemaker, often found herself caught between Ted's frugality and the children's desires. She'd try to reason with Ted, gently suggesting that maybe, just maybe, they could loosen the purse strings a little. But Ted, convinced he was doing what was best, stood firm, a sentinel guarding his fortress of finances. The family dynamics were strained, the atmosphere thick with unspoken desires and quiet frustrations. Despite the challenges, the Thompsons' house was not devoid of joy. Mary, with her infectious laughter and optimistic spirit, could find humor in the most mundane situations. She spun tales of adventure while serving up yet another casserole of leftover chicken and vegetables. Game nights were a riot, with homemade board games and popcorn popped on the stove, filling the house with warmth and laughter. Even Ted, with his penny-pinching ways, had a soft spot, especially for his children. He'd regale them with stories of his own childhood, tales of hardship and resilience, teaching them the value of hard work and resourcefulness. Weekends were spent exploring parks and museums, free activities that brought them closer together. In the tapestry of their frugal life, moments of joy and laughter were woven in, reminding them that happiness wasn't measured in dollars and cents. Section 5. A Daughter's Dilemma, Yearning for More. Lily loved her father dearly, but his frugality was a constant source of embarrassment. At school, she'd watch other girls flaunting their trendy clothes and going on exciting trips. She longed to be part of their world, to fit in and feel accepted. The constant comparisons made her feel invisible, like a shadow lurking on the sidelines. One day, a school trip to a theme park was announced. Lily desperately wanted to go, but she knew what her father's answer would be. The thought of asking, of facing his inevitable refusal, filled her with dread. She retreated into herself, her silence speaking volumes. Mary, sensing her daughter's turmoil, decided to intervene. She knew that Lily needed this, not just for herself, but for her relationship with her father. Section 6. The Son's Perspective, Resourcefulness and Resilience. Ethan, unlike his sister, had grown accustomed to his father's penny-pinching ways. In fact, he'd developed a sense of pride in his ability to make do with less. He learned to fix his own bike, mend his clothes, and create toys out of discarded objects. His resourcefulness became his superpower, a badge of honor in the face of his father's frugality. He He understood his father's motivations, his fear of financial insecurity. He'd overheard his parents' hushed conversations about bills and expenses. While he empathized with Lily's longing for material things, he also saw the value in his father's lessons. He was learning to be responsible, to appreciate the value of hard work and ingenuity. He knew that these lessons would serve him well in life, regardless of his financial situation. Section 7. A Wife's Wisdom, Finding Joy in Simplicity. Mary, the anchor of the family, navigated their unusual dynamics with grace and wisdom. She understood Ted's anxieties, his deep-seated fear of not being able to provide for his family. She knew his frugality stemmed from a place of love, however misguided it might seem. She patiently tried to show him that happiness wasn't about material possessions, but about experiences and togetherness. Mary taught her children the importance of gratitude, of finding joy in simple pleasures. They'd have picnics in the park, visit the local library for story time, and spend evenings playing board games by the fireplace. She instilled in them the values of compassion, empathy, and understanding, showing them that true wealth lay not in material possessions, but in the richness of their relationships. Section 8. The Turning Point, A Lesson in Generosity. The school trip became a turning point for the Thompson family. Mary, in her gentle but firm way, made Ted see how important it was for Lily to have this experience. She reminded him of his own childhood dreams, some fulfilled, some unfulfilled. Ted, looking at his daughter's downcast eyes, felt a pang of guilt. He realized that his frugality had blinded him to his daughter's needs. In a decision that surprised everyone, Ted agreed to let Lily go on the trip. He even went a step further, giving her some spending money, a rare occurrence. Lily was overjoyed. Her face lit up with a radiant smile, but more importantly, she saw a new side to her father, a side that was willing to bend, to put her happiness above his principles. That day, Ted learned a valuable lesson about the importance of balance, of finding middle ground between frugality and generosity. Section 9. The Frugal Family's Fortune, Contentment, and Togetherness. Life for the Thompsons didn't magically transform overnight. Ted was still frugal, but there was a subtle shift in his perspective. He learned to be more mindful of his family's needs, to differentiate between wants and necessities. He discovered that occasional indulgences wouldn't break the bank. Lily, no longer embarrassed by her father's frugality, embraced her uniqueness. She learned to be resourceful and creative, finding joy in making her own clothes and accessories. Ethan continued to excel in his resourcefulness, becoming the go-to handyman in the neighborhood. The Thompsons, once known as the Frugal family, became an example of how to live a fulfilling life with contentment and togetherness, proving that happiness wasn't about how much you had, but how much you shared and appreciated the things that truly mattered.